Good evening, Toastmaster of the day, my fellow Toastmasters and guests, and especially my team members from Restorative Justice from Africa Initiative that took out the time to be here. A very good evening to you all.
Good evening.
Gerald R. Ford, as 8 US president, said that one of the most important skills in life is the ability to communicate effectively. End of quote. The ability to communicate your plans, your ideas, your visions in an effective manner matters a great deal. Perhaps the clearest example of this is seen when a man wants to woo a maiden. More on this later. According to the Merriam-Webster Online Dictionary, communication is defined as a process of exchanging ideas between two individuals or between individuals in a common system. Now, communication could be verbal, it could be non-verbal. According to the Toastmasters Bootcamp, while I was going through it, there are different communication styles. So your style could be direct, it could be initiating, it could be supporting. And while going through my questionnaire, I realized that my form of communication is direct, which means that when communicating, I'm independent, I'm confident, I'm decisive, and somewhat competitive. But that was not the case when I was with my wife. The question is, which person is direct when he's smitten by love? I could be direct now in my communication style because of the practice of law. Of course, after you shouted objection, my lord, and I put it to you to a witness, you pretty much become very direct in your communication style. However, while with my wife, I chose the supporting style, which meant that I was more engaging. I was calm. I listened more than being direct. Now, when animals want to communicate their romantic interests to a mate, we observe that animals will engage in dancing, some will sing, some will even display bright colors like the peacock. And the same thing goes for us humans. We engage in similar behavioral traits. However, with us humans, we mix it with words. And we as well mix it with what? We mix it with gestures. Now follow me down memory lane to 15 years ago when I first met my wife. A petite, pretty Benin lady. The first time I saw her, I was wowed by her poise and her beauty. And when she spoke, it was like the moon and the sun stood still. And at that point in time, I realized I was in love. But as most men here would have observed, being in love is the easy part. However, communicating that love in a way that you will not be embarrassed, that is the issue. And the case was worse for me as I was a 100-level student and I had no attractive paraphernalia other than my fine face and the desire to have the woman that I now call Wanyoma. She gave me sleepless nights. There are days I could not read because I was thinking of her, especially the days I saw other young men talking to her. But as we say in Nigeria, I shot my shots. We were in the same class, so it was easy to get close to her. So I engaged in giving her suggestive innuendos and writing poems. Trust me, it wasn't easy. And as Samuel Beckett would say, words are all we have. And I remember the first time I told her that I loved her. Now, in order not to scare her away, that was the 200 level. In order not to scare her away, I quickly, like a Christian brother, told her, but God loves you more. Like I said earlier, I didn't have much cash on me. And I used all I have, which was words. So I used words to woo my wife. I wrote poems for her. Poems with the lines picked from the Songs of Solomon and Proverbs. And if you've read the Songs of Solomon, you would understand you don't need to think too far to write romantic poems to a woman. So I will write lines like, thy cheeks are fair with rows of jewel, thy neck with chains of gold. Behold, thou art fair, my love, behold, thou art fair with those eyes. End of quote. It was a beautiful thing when in 400 level she told me she loved me too, in the manner that I wanted her. And in 2016, when she accepted my proposal and said she was going to spend the rest of her life with me. And finally in 2020, when we got married in February. Paul J. Meyer said something. He said that effective communication is a key to personal and career success. Effectively communicating my interests to my wife was a key in my personal life. I observed her, I studied her, and I knew that the only way to win her heart was to communicate in the supportive style of communication. This was what I did many years ago, and this is what I continue to do many years after marriage. Toastmasters of the day.